the surprise of the moment of St. Francis is interesting with regard to the way that the fulminating grace that hit one man can have an impact over the whole world. From that moment of giving himself entirely in poverty to follow the poor Christ, many things happened. It could have gone into a rebellion, a schismatic movement, but it was contained. Pope Innocent listened and took on board this power of renewal. For the Lord wanted not just one church to be restored, but the church itself. And it was a return to the simplicity of the gospel. And that appeal has always been there. I recall actually how deeply moved when 13 I came across in the history book that we were studying at that time this moment. And it quoted the verse that hit St. Francis: "If thou wilt be perfect, go sell all that thou hast and give to the poor, and come follow me." And it changed everything. I remember getting on my knees at that point and saying, "Lord, take me. This is the way." And though still a Protestant that was actually embryonically very Catholic, it's strange actually how things can go one way or another according to who we meet afterwards. For it came eventually, a little later on, to getting in contact with the Capuchins. There was the feeling of just keeping on hold. And so it faded, and the monastic call became stronger. But the two are not separate, for St. Francis himself was a mystic. We forget what happened at La Verna. And it's not for nothing that his order is referred to as the Seraphic Order. Years later, at Sant'Antimo, a novice master, I took the novitiate to an island where St. Francis had spent a whole Lent. It's in the lake of Trasimene. There one could sense why St. Francis was a deeply interiorized soul and loved also solitude. For the call of solitude is in all the saints, in some shape or form. It's not either or, but both and just a question of proportion. But the purity of the gospel needs to be borne in mind, and in his teaching, St. Francis does insist on charity. We are called to love, and there is no renewal unless it is a renewal of love. If that is there, all the rest will follow, and one cannot separate the vertical from the horizontal. And so it is that when there is love, a community that is healthy will draw unto love. If, on the other hand, all the observances are perfect, but there is no love, no charity, there is no peace. one picks up the vibes, there is something wrong. Here, there is something wrong. And people will pick it up. But it applies to the whole life of the church. Is there something wrong? I am called to love. The Lord did not make it complicated. He gave us one word. And St. John the Evangelist, when an old man kept repeating it, little children, love one another. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. And where there's doubt, true faith in you. Make me a channel of your peace. Where there's despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there's sadness, ever joy. Oh, Master, grant that I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Make me a channel of your peace. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned, in giving to all men that we receive.